Oh, good afternoon. I am running late, but I'm running late for very good reason. So, yeah, let me tell you what that is. Okay, so as you can see from the title, OMG, so many patterns. I took off. I think I told you guys. I took off. Look at all the patterns in front of me. I took off this Thursday. I had a doctor's appointment. Sorry, I'm going to move you guys one more time. I don't want to make you seasick. I'm trying to get rid of some of this glare. It's a very nice, bright, sunny day, but there is a bit of glare. I took off Thursday. I had a doctor's appointment, and I knew it would run over, which it did. So I took the whole day, and then I thought, well, why do I want to go back to work on Friday? I'm going to take it as a mental health day. Took the dog to the vet, the whole 9 yards. Now, you guys saw Goodwill Tuesday. I got the buttons. We're not even going to look at the buttons in the canister because we have so many patterns to get through today. I'm actually afraid that my computer's battery is going to die. So anyway, Thursday, the doctor's appointment was a couple towns over, and they have a Goodwill. So of course I went there, and I got 3 bags of patterns. We're going to look at those patterns. And then Friday, well, actually earlier in the week, I noticed that woman, Dawn, who I've done pattern hauls from her before. She's the home ec teacher. She had posted that she had a bunch of patterns. So I contacted her. Hi, Olivia. I contacted her, and she told me she thought it was around 113 patterns. She wasn't sure. It ended up being 115. So I went and picked up 115 patterns. Now, a lot of these are dupes. So what I mean by that is there were patterns that she had multiples of. So that's what's in front of me. So why don't we do those first? I will save the Western wear and the kind of normal patterns for later in this, what will probably be a very long episode. So let's get it right underway. Now, Dawn, I like buying from Dawn. The patterns are always new, and they're very varied. Now, this one, I was surprised. It didn't have as many craft patterns or costume patterns as the last haul I did with her. So I'm going to show you. It only actually had like 3 craft patterns. Yeah. So this was one of them. This was the only one of this. It's Barbie dolls, but they're made for stretch knits. So it's all, it's like, and it doesn't say Barbie on it, by the way. Don't say Barbie. We don't want to get sued. There was this one. There were 2 of these. And these are they're bags for, the name is actually festival bags. So they're for when you go to music festivals. This one, which is kind of a craft pattern, kind of a kids pattern. She does have quite a bit of craft of children's patterns. We're going to talk about that because this week I got a lot of children's patterns. So this episode will have the Western wear, which I worked on this week, but I actually have more children's patterns than I have Western wear. So all of these are up online already, by the way, if you want to look at them. Actually, no, you know what? These aren't. These new patterns are not up online. I photographed them today. I haven't had a chance to post them and list them. So they'll be up tonight. I'll probably do that this afternoon after I get done talking to you guys. Kind of wish I had these before Easter because look at how many of these would have been super cute Easter dresses for little girls, right? But que sera, babies, really cute. And the nice thing about this is there we go. I actually don't mind getting baby patterns that are newer. They actually sell better than the vintage, which you would think it would be the opposite. I do sell some vintage children's, but I sell more of the newer children's. So I like doing deals with Dawn. She's always got a really good mix of patterns. You'll see in a minute. There's some costume patterns in here, which she always has costume patterns. And this one, I was very happy. A lot of sleepwear. And the nice thing about sleepwear patterns is a lot of them are unisex. Some of them are families, so they're multi-sized. And they sell very well for me too. Oh, I love this dress. Let me tell you. Look at how cute that is. I think it's because it's the dress with the little red sandals. I don't know about any of the rest of you, but when I was a kid, I had to wear like a corrective shoe. And those corrective shoes were that red. They weren't patent leather. I did have black patent leather shoes, but they were like red and they had a T-strap and they were red leather shoes. Does anybody remember these? I had to wear those. So children's sleepwear pattern. Again, like I was saying, unisex. And then this one is actually probably also unisex, but has adult sizes in it too. And then this one is a little more for little girls, right? It's the nightgowns and the robes. And then we have women's PJ patterns. This is a nice pattern. Robe, PJs. PJs, you can do them in two styles. You know, you can do the shorties and the longer ones. Unisex pattern. Also, some of these patterns are not, I can't really do them unisex. Hold on, I'm going to move you guys just a tiny bit. There we go. I can't really do them as unisex patterns because they're not sized unisex. They're sized for women only. So, men's. Here's what I'm talking about. See, this is like a family pattern. So it's got all of the sizes in the one pattern. Here's another one. These, I believe, yeah, these are only bathrobes though. Cute. Family PJs. And then, okay. I'm going to use this one as a segue to costumes because I don't understand this at all. Let me preface this by saying I'm aware of Harry Potter. I never read the books. I'm a little too old for that. I've seen a couple of movies. They seem fine. Like, I don't have an opinion about them. They seem great for teens, especially. I'm not an adult who's way into Harry Potter. I'm not one of them. But Harry Potter bathrobes. And I guess you can get the... Yeah, it doesn't say anything about whether they have the appliques for the houses, and then there's lots of patterns. And like I was saying before, the great thing about the patterns is there's a lot of duplicates on these. So I got 4 or 5 of the different sizes. So a little bit for everybody. And this was interesting. So it's the Harley Quinn pattern. They use 2 different models for the, one for, quote, regular size and then plus size. So this is regular and this is plus size. But I thought that was kind of a good idea. I mean, it is the same pattern. It's just, it's going to look very different on you because I didn't look at this, but I'm assuming it's a stretch knit. It's recommended for stretch knits. And then we have just plain old women's patterns. Really kind of basic stuff. I was so happy. She had like 4 of these. This is such a cute pattern, right? Such a cute 1960s pattern. It's a reproduction. It doesn't say what year, 1960, but you can see in the picture, see the reproduction, the original. And she had, I think, 3 of these. Now, this is a pattern I've had before and I sold out of it, so I'm happy to have it back. Basic dress, 3 or 4 styles. There we go. Skirt. So I'm interested to see how these do because when it comes to women's patterns, I don't sell as many of the modern ones. I do far better on the vintage patterns than I do on modern patterns. But look how cute this is. It's a gorgeous coat. And then this one, I swear I've had this before, but I was looking and I couldn't find it in my stock. So if I had it, I sold it. I really like this pattern. I'm seriously thinking about keeping it. I love these shorts, but I really don't really wear shorts. So all right, so those are all the patterns. Oh, I already forgot what I said. What's a good idea, Olivia? I can't remember already, but whatever. So before we get into this week's patterns, let's take a look at what I got. All right, so I'm going to start with stuff that's not online yet because I haven't really dealt with these yet. I bought 3 bags of patterns. They were $6.99 each, so $7. So I spent like $21 on patterns, only to find out that the majority of them were children's patterns and they were cut. Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah, I think it is. I'm glad we're talking about the Harley Quinn pattern. And you're right. I thought it was a good idea too, because when you're using a stretch knit and the model is a size 2 and you're not a size 2, whatever size that is, because, you know, that model's a size 2. That Harley Quinn costume looks completely different on her than it's going to look on you. So it was nice that they had a plus size model to show you what it's going to look like if you're not a size 2, right? All right, so speaking of costumes, the patterns that I bought from Goodwill, the majority of them were cut. So it wasn't a great deal for me. But the good thing was even the cut ones were mostly vintage, but kids again. So we'll see. But there were lots of costumes. So some vintage kids costumes. I thought this one was older, but I looked it up. It's only the 80s. I love this. And you can see, like, I have to go through them and really take a look at them. I'm putting them aside for now because I'm so busy. And I have other cut costume patterns that I'm going to deal with in August because that's when I'll start selling costumes again. I'm going to assume that this is from when Pocahontas was a cartoon feature. That's the only thing I can think of. There's this one. This one's so cute. I love that dinosaur pattern in the middle. This pattern I already have. So, and this one's also cut. The one I have is also cut. The astronaut was cut, but this one is vintage 70s. I think I already have this one too. Or I had it and I sold it. It's kind of cute. And then this is, I have the adult version of this. This is great. Even though it's cut, this is the children's version of the Flintstones. So it's Fred, Wilma, Barney, and Betty. But it's in children's sizes. So, all right. So those were the costumes. Now, put those aside. Let's look at the children's patterns. Actually, I guess this is a nice break from looking at adult patterns so much as to look at children's patterns. Okay, so these two I actually listed together because they are both by Butterick, but they're also both this style. They're an apron style dress. So you see the pieces? And you can see the line drawings on this one. It just kind of wraps around the little girl. It's adorable though, right? I mean, both of them are super cute. So we'll see if anybody wants to buy those. This, what I should say is most of these patterns are partially cut. Like this one, only the vest was cut. The turtleneck and the pants were uncut. There's the line drawings on that one. Really cute. Okay, this, let's set the Wayback Machine. I'm basically about to show you a pattern that was pretty much every Easter outfit I had until, I don't even know when, until I was probably 8 or 9. But yes, the bonnet, the coat, the whole push. These were my Easter outfits for years, right? This pattern, another one. See this over pinafore? That was the only thing that was cut. The pants are uncut. The dress is uncut. And the dress is cute, right? Completely uncut. Still folded. Still in there. This was the oldest one. This was 65. No, I'm sorry, 66. So 2 years after I was born. Only this middle one was cut. This one with the footy, uncut. All this, uncut. So we'll see. We'll see if they'll show. Oh, and now we're getting into the butter. Now, the thing that's interesting about the Butterick is the pictures are cute, but the illustrations are amazing. These are that whole series where the Butterick, whoever was illustrating for Butterick, just did these amazing children's illustrations. I think we've talked about this before, like how really beautiful the children's illustrations are on the 1970s Butterick patterns. You know, it's obscure, but yeah. Again, all these were cut, but only partially cut. Super cute. Okay, here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Look at how cute the kids are on this illustration. I mean, it's adorable. They're so well done. They're so beautiful. All right, so there were also ladies, or should I say women's patterns. The women's patterns were... Actually, these are all the patterns that were uncut, so I'll show them to you. All right, this first one threw me because I've never seen this. So maybe some of you have seen it, but I've never seen it. All right, I know this magazine, Women's World. I do not ever remember them giving out a pattern. This one is still in the original plastic, and it's from 1986. And it's for this dress, which is kind of cottagecore, kind of dirndlish, right? But still in the original packaging, so that was cool. There was this Butterick pattern, unused, really basic skirt. This was another one I thought I already had, but I didn't. I had something really similar by Butterick, but not this one. There was this pattern, which was unused, and it is for these really cute little fleece animals, including the unicorn and all that. This Simplicity nightgown pattern for little girls, which I just thought was so cute. So absolutely adorable. And this one, unfortunately, I think the transfers for the applique are missing, but which was a shame. They used them for something else. And then, oh, speaking of cottagecore, Laura Ashley little girl's dress with a freaking bonnet and a purse. Like, hello, we don't get any more cottagecore than this. So hopefully someone who's into cottagecore who has children is looking for that. Here's another beautiful McCall's illustration. Super cute little outfit for little girls. And this, never heard of this, by the way, this company, Nanette's, never heard of it, but cute dress, you know. And then there was a pattern for a costume. And I thought this was really cute. It reminded me of Encanto. So we'll see. So that was it for the patterns that I bought at the Goodwill. That's not my Goodwill. By the way, that Goodwill is the one where the woman famously said to me, I was asking the manager about patterns. This was like 2 years ago. And she said, oh, when we get patterns, I just throw them away. My heart broke a little bit while I was talking to her. All right. So, all right. So while I was going through those patterns, there was one adult pattern that had been cut, which was this. So I looked at it. It's only partially cut. They only made one of the best. So I looked it up to see, like, you know, how much am I going to charge for this partially cut? This pattern, brand new, uncut, is $4. Pretty much across the board. Everybody's charging $4 for it. So because it was only partially cut, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to put it in my collection. So I now officially have a vest pattern in my collection. Yeah, Olivia's saying that a woman at the Salvation Army told her the same thing, that they throw away vintage patterns because nobody wants them. And it totally breaks my heart because I make a living selling vintage patterns, some of which I'm buying at Goodwill or Salvation Army. Why do you think they don't sell at your Salvation Army? I'm buying them. And then I'm selling them to somebody else. So I don't know why they think they don't sell, but whatever. So this week when I was going through the patterns, you always find stuff stuffed in the patterns that's not part of the pattern. Here was one of them. It is a old, probably a free pull because of this thing up here. It was probably something free, but it was for the bedtime baby doll. That's all the directions. So I'll put that aside and figure out what to do with it later. And this, I just kind of found wedged between patterns. It's super cute. It's by, I don't know if any of you remember Current. Remember Current? It was a magazine and they sold stuff, but it is, let me find something cute. An applique cat pillow. So it's a book of all kinds of crafts. Oh, see? Sea and sand candles. It's just all stuff like this. I have other stuff by them. Oh, look, a wreath. Remember in the 90s when everybody had to have a wreath for every freaking occasion you could possibly imagine? You had a wreath for like everything, right? We loved a vest and we loved a wreath, right? And for some reason, we love geese. But anyway, so I'm going to put this in with the craft stuff when I put the craft stuff up on sale. I know Olivia's saying yes because she remembers too when you had to have a craft for everything. By the way, these were included with the stuff that was given to me by, that was sold to me by Dawn, the home ec teacher. I'm wondering if when she got her box of patterns, somebody threw them in there. All right, so when I was doing patterns this week, I did find this pattern. So this is a sloper or block pattern. Doesn't have any line drawings. It's a size 22, which is my size, bust 44. And this is the pattern that you cut out and you use and you fit it to yourself and you cut it up and then you lay it over your good patterns and you use this instead. So I think I want to get more serious about my sewing in general. So I'm going to keep this because, this is a 30-cent pattern. And I had a sloper pattern way back that I never used that was also, I think, from Butterick. And it cost me like $8. And I bought the wrong size, so I never used it. So, or I bought it and I gained weight. I can't remember. All right. So, without further ado, let's look at the patterns that I did this week. Now, I finished up the plus size patterns. So a lot of the first couple patterns we're going to see are going to be plus size. Then I promise you we will get into the Western patterns because there's some doozies in there. But let's start with these. So basic wardrobe pattern, but nice, right? And do you see what I see? That's right. It's got culottes. Bring back the culotte. This one, same thing. They're palazzo pants, right? But they can be cut down to shorts. And if, I don't know, on the back, to me, that looks like culottes, not shorts. So, and this, look how cute this sundress is. See the asymmetrical with the button? The 80s. We loved asymmetrical. Oh, and Dynasty. Okay. Yeah. We all know this is from the Dynasty date. Look at the padded shoulders. Whew. No line drawings. And again, it's McCall's. I don't know what is it with McCall's and the line drawings. They just don't feel like, Look at this. It's very cute, actually, when you look at it. See the back where you can do the overall snaps in the back or in the front. I thought that was kind of cute. And just a very sweet, more cottagecore. Like a sweet little dress. These, sorry, I had to put them in plastic. Someone did comment that the plastic's not that bad, though. So, because look at how thick they are. And it's not so much that it's a plus size, it's that this is this one's a Palmer and plush. So it has all the instructions for doing your alterations, so it fits you really well on this tissue. Not to mention, it's got it's only one size, but it's 3 styles of skirt, so it's a little bit thicker. This one, same thing, but I think it's just that I couldn't fold it right. Because once I unfold them, sometimes it's hard to fold them back up. And this didn't, again, they didn't have any line drawings on them. This, which to me almost looks like maternity, but it's not. It's just a smock. I called it a smock shirt online because that's what it reminded me of. And this little cute little sleeveless summer top. Again, no line drawing, summer tops. And this one also, no line drawings. Okay, so this is one of the, I actually like these, the 8-in-1 patterns, because if you like the basic blouse, they give you all the different patterns for the sleeves. And I really like that. I like having the different patterns for the sleeves. All right. We got some Simplicity. Here again, 9-in-1. See, Simplicity does line drawings. Yeah, McCall's. Simplicity does line drawings. And this strange, I don't understand why this is a craft pattern, but whatever. It's a jumper with appliques. Another design your own dress. Again, with the applique collars. And then this next little batch, I'm going to pull these aside. This next little batch, I actually listed these all together with some other ones I had, which we saw a couple weeks ago. They're these 90s mother-daughter patterns. And for some reason, they were all like $1.25, $1.75. So I now have like 4 or 5 different styles. I just put them all together as mother-daughter patterns because I'm not sure who still does this, but I'm sure there's somebody that sews that still does this, that does the mother-daughter patterns. And then this one, which is also it's a mommy and me pattern, but it's April Cornell. April Cornell was kind of a big designer in the 90s. She's another one, very cottagecore. A lot of floral ditzy print stuff, and see how it's pleated in here. So this, it's both. It's the mom's dress and the daughter's dress and the purse and the hat, but they don't match. They're not like this one where they really match each other, right? So that one I did do separately. April Cornell's a little bit different. She's kind of a big deal. People are really into Miss April Cornell. So, you know, I put her separately. And then we're just finishing up with some more plus size. This was a lot of like 80s that I hadn't gotten to. I love this though. It's so cute. And I really think I had that dress. Comes with a little jacket. There's no line drawings on this one, which is weird because they usually do line drawings. More Simplicity, 1980s. And this I thought was a jumpsuit, but it's not. It's just the pants. And a nice cord skirt, jiffy pattern. All right, so now for the Western patterns. Okay, so the Western patterns ranged from being like, okay, yeah, you could wear that skirt to, oh my God, where are you going to wear that? So let's start with the ones that are more moderate. So I've been putting all the vest patterns under the subheading on my site of Western, because I think it's the only place you're really going to see them today. And no line drawings again. And then there's stuff like this, right? Like I looked at this and thought, oh, this is kind of cute, right? I like the skirt. I like this skirt. But, you know, still pretty Western-y. She's wearing cowboy boots, right? Again, no line drawings. And then we get into the hardcore stuff. So, right. Very. Almost to the point of being like, history bounding, right? For those of you who don't know, history bounding is where you wear a garment that's historic, but you wear it in a modern way, or you wear it with modern clothing. An example would be, this is definitely a frontiersman shirt, but see how he's wearing it with jeans and a hat, and like she's wearing it with a pretty flouncy skirt, but like up here, how she's wearing it with just some khakis. It's almost history bounding. Yeah, see, like I can't imagine where else you would wear this, except, I mean, you could wear this one, but like these, yeah, you're wearing those to the rodeo, man, right? Same with this one. Very like, oh yeah, you could wear this one, but this one has fringe. I'm not going to, you know, I mean, I could wear that to the supermarket, but I might get some looks, right? And then these. And I have to be honest about the history bounding. I don't know a lot about history bounding. What I know about it is it was started by like people that went to Disneyland. This is unisex, by the way. And here was the explanation I got. Disneyland does not let adults dress in character costumes, which I completely understand, right? It's too tempting for somebody that would be a pedophile, right? To dress, and attract children. So what adults started to do was kind of make outfits based on like whatever, like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, that were more modern looking, right? So like maybe the top, and you wear a yellow skirt, but it's not a full skirt. So, and then history bounding somehow came out of that. And Disney bounding it's called Disney bounding, but then history bounding came out of that. I'm confusing myself. So what I'll do is I'll go find, after we're all done here, I will go find the definition of history bounding and I will put it in the comments when this stuff starts getting processed. All right. So I had 2 patterns by this company, Western Classics, never heard of them. So here's the shirt. And then if you are so inclined, you can go make yourself the skirt. And I love this blouse, but it's the skirt only in this pattern. And I was not real happy about that. And then, with this pattern, I was really on the fence about. This actually has that shirt. What size is it? No, not my size. Okay. So this is a wardrober. And you could wear all these pieces separately and not look like you were going to go square dancing. But I really feel like that's kind of what this pattern was intended for. And then there's patterns like this, this next one, which is absolutely intended for square dancing. I mean, look at that. That is, woohoo. Look at her over here. Or country line dancing, because these are all from the 90s. And aside from vests and wreaths, we loved country line dancing in the 90s. We were just all over that, just all over it. All right, so we're now going to get into the men's section because I know Olivia's agreeing with me. Olivia, you lived through the 90s just like I did. I was in my 30s basically for most of the 90s, like the beginning of the 90s. I'm trying to think how old I was in 1990. In 1990, I was 24, 25. So I was like, I feel like I grew up in the 80s, but I was really like an adult in the 90s. And then the 2000s, I just felt like an old woman from 2000 on, So lots of men's patterns in this one. So I almost said men's problems, which is, boy, talk about Freudian slip. But that was nice because I have still that whole box of men's patterns over here, and I haven't dealt with them yet. And some of these, like this one, perfect example, kind of a tough call. Is it a Western pattern or is it just a men's pattern? Tough call. This one I'm going to go with Western. Okay, so this one has transfers, and I'm going to show you what the transfer is for. Can you guys see the close-up right there of the mountain view on the back of the yoke? The transfers are in here unused. Yeah, like awesome, right? This one's pretty old. I think this was 72. So this is pretty early on. Does not include the kerchief, by the way. I know you're all wondering, hey, does that include that kerchief? No, it actually doesn't. Why do I have two? Okay, there we go. We'll put these all together. This one I had 2 of, 2 different sizes, so that's nice. It's basically really just the vest and the jeans, but works for me. Now we get into the quick sew, which has, okay, so this is a very destroyed envelope, but wow, look at that detail. In fact, let me show you that's some Western going on there. We're not messing around with that. That look right there is, the Marlboro Man. Yeah, modern people don't know. The kids today don't know what the Marlboro Man is. For any of you out there watching this who's younger, back in the old days, you could advertise cigarettes on television. And we had a guy called the Marlboro Man. And he was the guy that hawked for Marlboro cigarettes. And he was a cowboy, and he was always out west roping calves and driving his truck through mud and doing all kinds of cowboy stuff. And the really funny thing is years after he had passed, it came out that not only was he had died of lung cancer, which wasn't good for the image of the company, but he was gay. So the Marlboro Man was gay all that time, which was kind of a funny thing back in the day, because it was like they made such a point of, these are cigarettes from macho guys. It was like, by the way, our spokes guy, yeah, he's gay. And this is the very last pattern. It is the quintessential square dance Western pattern. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Where are you going to wear this? I mean, you could wear it to the supermarket, but you're going to get some looks. And look at that back panel. I am not doing that much sewing. I mean, I really have to be into the hobby of square dancing. Just look at how many gores are on that skirt. Crazy. Pretty, but crazy. There's a close-up. Doesn't include the shirt for the man. So I'm wondering if the shirt is another pattern, because it doesn't match any of the shirts I already showed you. But, you know. So next week. Let's talk about next week. So first of all, I'm not going to be really working on processing patterns until at least Thursday this week. I've been doing so much ironing with this arm that I now have developed a, what is it called? It's like when people get carpal tunnel, it's like a repetitive motion injury. This arm hurts so bad that last night I had to put like icy hot on it, because it hurt so bad, because I had done patterns. I had been working on patterns all day yesterday. So I decided I need to take a couple of days off. I'm working Monday and Tuesday, obviously. Then Wednesday, the kids have a half a day, which is never fun, because what happens is they go, I mean, by the time I drop off elementary school and it's 9 o'clock, it feels like I'm turning right back around to go pick up high school, who gets out at like noon. So Lindsay from inside the hem. I don't know who Lindsay from inside the hem is, but I like that she would wear that to Target. Yeah, because I'm thinking the supermarket. Sometimes when I look at these really pretty gown patterns, I think to myself, I wear that to the supermarket. I'll get a lot of looks, but whatever, right? It's beautiful. It's clothing. I can wear it. It's not like I'm going to the supermarket naked. So I'm going to take a break from ironing patterns until Thursday. So I know originally I had talked about doing the bridal patterns, but when I was emptying those bags, remember I emptied the 2 bags last week, I found a lot of vintage patterns, some that needed some attention because I'm not 100% sure they're not cut, and a lot who had issues with envelopes. So I'm going to use my 2 days constructively, 3 days before Easter, to work on those. So I think next week's going to be like an all vintage type thing. Now, I'm not interrupting anybody's Sundays, Easter Sunday, doing this, including my own. I still don't know what we're doing for Easter, because my sister hasn't let me know yet, but she's really busy. My niece's birthday, my great niece's birthday, is on Saturday. So we have all that stuff going on. I just ordered her cake, and we've been getting decorations and the whole thing. So we have all that going on. So we don't even know what we're doing for Easter Sunday, but this is what I've decided. Easter Monday, I am going to do this at 2 p.m. like I do on Sunday, but we're going to do it Easter Monday. And I think we're going to mostly do vintage this week. I think I'm going to try and buckle down and get these vintage patterns that I've had for a while, get them, checked out, processed, ironed if they need to be ironed, and put up on the Etsy page. And so you guys can look at them. So that's my plan. And you know what? Maybe we'll look at the buttons next week, because the buttons are really sweet. And that tin is really sweet. If any of you didn't see it, if you go into, it just comes up on a little video that I made the other day. And it was these really cute button tins, or really cute buttons in this tin. And so that's what I'm going to do. So next week, Monday, 2 o'clock. So Easter Monday, because I'm off. I don't go back to work until Tuesday. And heads up, I got a a text from Goodwill because I'm on their text alert thing. They're going to be doing their $1 Sundays on next Easter Monday. So who knows what I'll find at Goodwill. I might find something really interesting there. But for any of you that like to go to Goodwill for the Sunday thing that they do, this week, they're doing it on Monday. So it's their like dollar day thing. And I don't really know too much about it. I have to be honest. I went to like a couple of Goodwill dollar days, a couple of Sundays, and I couldn't deal. So many people picking. And specifically, it seemed to be a lot of people getting clothing, which is fine. I don't know if they're reselling it because it wasn't vintage clothing. It was just clothes. I don't know if they have big families. I don't know if they're reselling it. I don't know. Oh, your Goodwill, Olivia, your Goodwill doesn't do that? Oh, that sucks. That's awful. Yeah, mine does that. 9 a.m. There's a line outside the Goodwill at 9 a.m. for people going in to get the $1 deals. And I think it's only certain colors. It might be the colors that are half off that week, but I won't do it. I went in, I found like a couple, I can't even remember what it was. It wasn't patterns. It was something like a pair of jeans or something for myself. And the line was wrapping around the inside of the store. And I'm like, it's not worth it. I'll come back on Tuesday. And you know what? I went back and the jeans were still there on Tuesday. And I don't even think they were $1 that day anyway, but I'm not exaggerating when I tell you there were women who had carts full of clothing, just piled. So I guess they're reselling. Who knows? You know, I don't shame anybody about the reselling thing because quite honestly, it breaks my heart to see stuff going into the landfill. Like when I was in Tuesday and got those buttons, I was talking to one of the women that works there. She knows me. She works there all the time. She saw me. She said, look at these books. And she's showing me these books that are old. And we're looking at the dates. And like the print dates are like 28, 32. And I'm like, oh man, these are gorgeous. And she was saying, but nobody buys them. She said, we don't really sell a lot of books. I said, but you know what? People decorate with these. Like a lot of decorators will tell you, go just buy some books, some vintage books with those great old bindings on them in whatever colors you want and put them on a shelf and use them as a decorative thing. And I said, you know, I'd rather people do that, even if they're never going to read the book, than have a book end up in a landfill somewhere. I hate the idea of the waste. You know, it drives me crazy. It's why I will spend time trying to save a pattern. Like I've shown you some of them where I have them up here, where I've shown you the envelope is crumbling and it's missing pieces, but the directions are in there. Like, and I'm trying to save it because, yeah, I'm with you, Olivia. What's with the waste? And I have to tell you, speaking of waste, I was doing a little spring cleaning this morning and my vacuum cleaner broke. This vacuum cleaner is, I am not kidding you, 2 years old. It is a Bissell. I wouldn't say an extravagant amount of money on it. I spent a little over $100 on it at Walmart, right? But it's not even 2 years old. And I could hear it. It was making this noise. And then it started to smell like the belt was bad. And so I'm looking at it. I'm trying to take it apart and clean it up. Here, the plastic piece that holds the spinner piece in was digging into the spinner and was actually removing the plastic. So the plastic piece was removing plastic from the spinning piece and it wouldn't spin. It wouldn't pick anything up. So it was sucking, but it wouldn't like spin it. So I don't think it can be fixed because nothing made after 2000 can be fixed. You know, everything just goes in a landfill to die. And it really bothers me. I hate that it seems like things that were made, and I say 2000 because I that's when I really started to notice things breaking all the time. Everything is just designed to die in a couple of years. And I hate that. You have a Hoover from the 70s, right? And it's still going. And let me tell you, I had an Auric that belonged to my mom that was like, she bought it in the late 80s. I love that vacuum cleaner. The only reason I got rid of it is I couldn't find anybody to fix it. And I couldn't find belts for it anymore. I couldn't find anything for this vacuum cleaner. And I don't know if you have this problem, Olivia, but if that vacuum cleaner breaks, nobody repairs sewing machines and vacuum cleaners anymore. It used to be, they used to have these places where they sold vacuum cleaners, sold sewing machines, and the guy that owned the place or worked there knew how to fix them. Drives me crazy. Same with refrigerators. Every couple of years, I feel like you have to replace the refrigerator. My mother had a refrigerator that was, well, first of all, it was Harvest Gold. Remember Harvest Gold? She had that refrigerator from the time she bought it until she sold her house, like the house I grew up in the late 90s, and bought a new one here in Hamilton. And then she got a white refrigerator and donated that Harvest Gold refrigerator. And that Harvest Gold refrigerator was still running the day she donated it. It was like, it's crazy. All right, so you know how to fix your own vacuum. Yeah, and I know a little bit of about vacuums. They're very basic. It's a motor that turns a wheel that has a belt on it that turns that thing, and there's a separate like compressor that pulls air up. They're not a difficult machine. A lot like sewing machines, up and down movement, back and forth, up and down. I think they're 2-stroke motors or whatever. But nobody fixes them anymore. And they're not made to be fixed at all anymore because they're all plastic. So if the plastic breaks, then you're screwed. So anyway, let's not end on a bad note. So next week, lots of vintage. I promise to show you some of the buttons in that beautiful canister. The canister is absolutely beautiful. It's a Japanese scene, like some of you can see it. I was trying to show it in the picture, but it's hard to see. Yeah, she's talking about a Harvest Gold electric stove. And she's right. And she's saying her sister, was never used. I know people that still have stoves. Here in New Jersey, we have a thing, and it might just be an Italian thing, but I'm not sure. It's called the summer kitchen. So a lot of people in Hamilton, you go in their kitchen and all the appliances are new. And then you go in their basement. There's a whole nother kitchen downstairs, right? Sometimes it has a sink, sometimes it doesn't. It's usually the old fridge and the old stove are down in the basement, and you use it in the summer so you don't heat up the whole house. I know people that have stoves from the 1940s in their basement that was their mom's stove, and it still works. You go down, if the thing lights up like that, like no problems, no issues, never been fixed. Same with fridges. My mother's house that she bought in Hamilton had a freezer in it that we used until we sold her house after she died. But that was 2016. And that freezer, no issues. And I mean, when I tell you this freezer was old, it had a turquoise interior. So you can guess how old that is, right? But it just ran. Things were built to run. When you bought something, it was designed so you never had to buy another one. And that is not what happens now. We have a designed obsolescence, as they say. Phones are the worst. Most electronics are horrible. This computer that I'm talking on will probably die any day now because it's almost 2 years old, which is ancient in computer world, right? But anyway, so next week we'll talk about buttons. We'll do a lot of vintage. I'll do this on Monday at 2 p.m. I'll try and remember this week to do a little thing, like a little reminder thing. And until then, I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday, no matter what it is, whether you celebrate or don't. I hope you just have fun having a day off if you don't celebrate. I hope you have some good food. I hope the bunny gives you lots of chocolate. And until next time, like, subscribe, please comment. I love comments. Ring the bell, and I will see you next week. And we will look at some beautiful vintage patterns. And until then, stay well.